lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the PWCC Weekly Hockey Auction-Ending Watch Party here on the Sports Cards Live YouTube channel for July the 14th, 2024. My name is Jeremy Lee, and I'm excited for tonight's show, and I'm going to bring out our co-host, none other than Mr. Josh Madigan of the Hockey Cards Gongshow. Josh, here we go again. We took last Sunday off for 4th of July festivities. How were your 4th of July festivities?
It was awesome. Had a great time up at the cabin, as we call them here in Minnesota. The state bird, our mosquito, was out in full effect. We've had a lot of rain. Our lake water was so high that our dock is entirely underwater. So we were tying our boat to the moorings underwater. It was weird. Never seen the water this high. Interesting. You had a good weekend though. Did you miss doing this show last Sunday? I always miss it. Yeah, but it was good. You know, we're kind of in the dog days now, right? It's tomorrow is July 15, pretty much the midpoint of summer already, and the draft is over. So it's a good time to maybe miss the show here or there. Yeah, not a lot of headlines in the NHL recently. I gotta say though, Josh, and I noticed it watching the Gong Show podcast the other day, looking at you now. I love that hat, man. Great colors. I love it. Old Hartford Whalers. Why are you sporting the Whalers cap? Because I only now root for teams that don't exist because they cannot disappoint me. Fair and very astute reason why. I love those colors. Are awesome. That's a great looking hat. When I see that logo, you know, you always see these things on social media. When you see this, what's the first thing you think of? What is the first player you think of when you think about the Hartford Whalers? Ron Francis. Yeah, me too. I didn't think we'd say anybody different. Number two for me might be like Ray Ferraro, something like that. Mike Liut from the early 80s. That might be who Troy would think of because Troy loves his goaltenders, of course. But yeah, great. Let's ask the chat. What do you guys think of when you see the Hartford Whalers logo? Do you think about Ron Francis first? Like towards the end, I remember like Jeff Sanderson was a big name there. He was hot in the hobby. Most people listen, I'm only a hockey fan, but so many great memories of the Hartford Whalers back in the 80s. And you know what's funny? You say Ron Francis. Well, Ron Francis's rookie card is 82-83, as I'm sure you know, and he wore number 10, and he was drafted the year before in 82, I believe, was drafted, maybe 81, but either way, another player whose rookie card is an 82-83, and another player who wore number 10 was Dale Hawerchuk. So I have additional reasons for kind of having focus on Ron Francis because he kind of, in that way, it was a little bit of a parallel with Dale Hawerchuk, although Francis won Stanley Cups, and my guy Dale Hawerchuk didn't get the honor of doing that. But we had a couple other answers here. Josh Jacob Dahl says Ron Francis. Yep. Schwab says Chris Pronger. There's a good one. Phil says Peter Sidorkiewicz. Yeah, I remember him. Jeff McMahon calls out Mark Howe. That's great. Todd McDonald loves the hat as well. Same here. What's up, Schwab's packing up weekend sales and glad to have some entertainment. Good. Well, glad you're able to just, even if you're listening, good to have you, Schwab's. Jake Dahl is here. Jeff McMahon. Good stuff. Name is here. Good to see you again, Name. And yeah, all right, guys. Well, you want to start getting into the cards here, Josh? Let's do it. All right. Oh, yeah. Jacob Dahl. Gordie played for the New England Whalers. I don't know if he played for the Hartford Whalers as well. I think New England were the WHA team and Hartford I think Hartford also was in the WHA for the last couple of years. I don't know exactly if Bobby Burrell could straighten us out on that for sure. Todd McDonald calls out Jeff O'Neill and Louis calls out Kevin Dineen. I should have said that one too. He shares a rookie year with Mario Lemieux. Good old Kevin Deneen for sure. And Jeremiah, first time able to catch the live show. Welcome to the show, Jeremiah. Glad to have you here for the live. Always good to have a first time live streamer with us here. Gary says, I first think about Brass Bonanza song after every Hartford goal. See, I don't know. I wasn't never there. I don't remember that, but good to learn about it. Name says Ray Ferraro for him. Yeah, I get it. And good evening, Louie. Good to see you, Louie. All right. Well, anything else, Josh, before we jump in?
No, let's get to it.
Let's do it. Oh, Jeff McMahon does confirm Gordie Howe played 1 year in Hartford, 80-81. Probably Hartford's first year back in the NHL right there. Guys, we've got 41 cards that we are focusing on tonight here. We're going to start with the very first hockey card in the history of hockey cards, or the very first player-specific card being the C56 set, 1910, Frank Patrick, a pioneer, a legend of the game. And again, the very first card in the set, it's a PSA 2. And when you look at it, you see it's got its flaws. It's definitely got some creasing through the corner here. The blue ink is coming up above the line here. That's just a printing issue, but he's still very much in focus. The player, rounded corners, a bit of a white spot down here. The front, anyway, Josh, looks really nice for a PSA 2. The centering is very nice. Top left corner is buggered, as you can see. Bottom corners have, I think, more modest rounding than this top left. I gotta see the back of the card before we move on from this one. I'm just really curious as to how it looks. Oh, it's clean. It's clean, guys. Let's open that up for a quick second here. Yeah. Okay. So crease right there, crease all the way through there. You see the rounding, minor staining up there. But that's a nice 2. I really like this card. If you're looking for this card, low grade, I think this is just a fine copy myself. Let's take a look at the 1927 Lambert and Butler World of Sport Montreal Victorias PSA 7. And I have to wonder, do we recognize any players on this team? Are there any superstars? This is, again, 1927, we said. So Howie Morenz was there at the time. Can I pick him out? I don't think I'm able to pick him out there if he's even there. But Josh, you guys talked about this card on the Gong Show. So I'd like to put it over to you and tell us a little bit about this card if you're able to.
Yeah, it's one of those tobacco cards, right, that was given as a promo as part of a multi-sport set where I think that they were trying to appeal to younger, more athletic people, because what helps you more with your athletics than smoking cigarettes, of course. And it was the Montreal Victorias, which were a Stanley Cup winner. I mean, I get a little confused where there is that period right between early 1900s all the way probably to 1930 where there was many teams like in Quebec and Toronto area, and they all had different names. But so I don't know. I think the Canadians were a thing at this time, weren't they?
I think so. I think there could, likely 2 teams back then. Was this a card that you or Troy picked out? This is a
card that Troy picked out, and so I'm kind of going off the top of my head and our notes a little bit. But again, though, you know how I look at these, like you had, I think, bought a very early, not even, what did Bobby say? It wasn't even hockey. It was like hockey ball or something like that card from, it was a late 1800s. It's just a very early kind of cool piece of hockey history. As I look at stuff like this, like a conversation starter, if you have a fellow hobby enthusiast over for dinner or something like that.
Yeah, I think it is. And, this is a card that I would consider purchasing for myself if it wasn't from 1927. I do have 2 cards that are pre-1910 in my collection. One I bought on PWCC a few weeks ago. The other one I've had for a long time. One's from 1888, one's from 1906. They're cards of the sport. They're not a player card. This is a team card, a bit different. Yeah. But this is almost too new for me. I like my
my non-player specific vintage hockey to be at least 115 years old. That's the vintage I like. But this is still pretty cool. Doesn't name any of the players on the back, which is fine. But $41 for this really cool old card. I didn't even notice the grade. PSA 7. I guess I did notice it. Yeah. Strong grade. Looks very nice. And then Josh,
I think there are four. I think there are 4 Hall of Famers on there. So Blair Russell, Russell Bowie, Graham Drinkwater, which is an amazing name, and Mike Grant.
Yeah, not your most noteworthy Hall of Famers, but Hall of Famers nonetheless. All right, let's move on to this 1966 Topps Bobby Orr rookie card. It's graded a PSA 4 with an MC qualifier, which means miscut. Let's take a look at that. But first, I want to say hello to Builder Boo Rips. First time watching this live as well. I love that. That's always so much fun. Well, guys, welcome to the show, you first timers. Jeremiah D, Builder Boo Rips. Glad you guys are here. Hope you enjoy the live experience. All right, guys. Bobby Orr, where'd it go? Where'd the Bobby Orr go? Here it is. So I feel like we've seen maybe this exact card, if not a one just like it. Maybe not this exact one because this is such a recent serial number. But I remember talking about it. And first of all, if you were to eliminate the fact that this is a miscut card, and it's obvious it's miscut because you can see the bottom of the card that was sitting above it on the uncut sheet right here. And this was Bobby Hull. You can see that's Bobby Hull's card. He was right above Bobby Orr on the uncut sheet. And that's why this is a miscut, because it shouldn't have any of the next card on it. It should be all wood grain up there and a bit and much more down here. But if you take away the fact that you've got a sliver of Bobby Hull's card and name at the top of this Bobby Orr card, this is a very nice copy. And I'm almost surprised it's only a 4. Would need to see the back as well, I suppose, because these edges and corners are very nice. All edges that I'm seeing here are very nice. The problem with the edges and corners, or the biggest problem, is this top right corner here, and that's not even that bad. But notice the centering side to side. It's perfect. You don't get that very often. Well, it's not perfect. It's close to perfect. You often get a lot more of this mismatch on the right edge here. It's hard to see on this image. It's there a little bit, but not bad. This is a great copy, except for the fact that it's miscut. The grade, I got Josh for the 3rd time in a row. I got to see the back of this card too, because I'm just not sure why it's only a 4. This looks more like a 6 to me, unless there's obviously there could be surface issues that we can't see. I'm not seeing anything on the back that jumps out at me right away. It's just, it's off center, top to bottom, just like it is on the front. So, to me, this is a really cool card, despite the fact it's got Bobby Hull included in it. This is a really great copy. I feel like the 4 is undergraded. Eye appeal wise, certainly undergraded, but it is miscut. So keep that in mind. Josh, love to get your thoughts on this. And even if you'd like to speak to the Frank Patrick as well.
I would love to own a C56 Frank Patrick someday. This card is nice. I would have to talk myself into that upper left corner, though. It's a little bit of a struggle. It's just the misshapen and kind of nature of it that I'm very similar to you, and I don't mind wear on vintage corners. I just like it to be uniform. And so I'm not saying I couldn't talk myself into it, but that's my only sticking point with this card. The nice part about this card is that the surface, and particularly around Frank, is pretty decent. Maybe a little bit of whiting to what would be the left side of his face, our right side as we're looking. But
yeah,
that could just be the print of the card too.
Great color though, the nice blues and reds. Yeah.
And then on the Orr, so here's something I have to admit, and I'm wondering if you could talk me out of it, or you would even want to. I have an aversion to qualifiers on labels. Like, I almost instantly am out. I can't even articulate eloquently to you why, but I just don't like them. And I totally agree with your assessment of the card. It is kind of neat too. If there was going to be another player, that would be Bobby Hull, which maybe is the second best card in the set too.
Yeah.
Right. but the card is really, and then if you think about it though, and maybe me getting over my own aversion in this case, right? Our rule of thumb, and I don't know if it will apply here, but is that a qualifier grade is really equivalent to 2 grades lower than the stated grade. And that would be a 2 in this case. And this would probably be about the nicest 2 you'd ever see in your life.
Yeah, and I think that is my general rule, 2 grades down for any qualifier. I don't blame you for having an aversion to qualifiers. I'm not a big fan of them either. However, I would be willing to make an exception if I thought that the card presented well, like this one actually really does. I think this is it's a great copy for what it is. I'm not going to try to talk you out of it, but I think the exception I would make is that I think that this card, I don't know that I would value it as low as a 2. I think I might come up to a 3 on something like this. And even then, maybe a bit more, maybe a 3.5 or a strong 3, something like that. It's sitting at 2,500 right now, which is an absolute steal, I think, for this card as it sits. That's $3,000 with buyer's premium. Something to keep in mind there. Let's go to a couple comments just on this. First of all, Builder says, do you guys grab cards you like and then wait to upgrade, or just wait for the right one? I wait for the right one, Builder. I wait for the right one. I'm in no rush, really, with cards I'd like. I've been waiting years for the right copy of some cards. I hope that helps you out. Josh, do you have a quick answer to that question?
I think so too. It's much safer just to wait for the right card, because it can be sometimes harder than you think to move a card that you already own, and then you can be stuck with something that you don't want when the right opportunity comes.
Larry says, does having a second Hall of Famer give it a bump for a miscut? I mean, I don't think it would, but I mean, I think it gets a coolness factor bump, if nothing else. And if that translates to value, then sure. Phil wants to know, can you explain the qualifier grade 2 points down approach? Phil, that's just a general rule that I've been following for, 15 years probably. And it really just comes down to, what do cards with qualifiers sell for? And they usually sell for about the value of a card that is 2 grade points lower. Now, I haven't verified that by data recently, but I believe it's likely still true, but it might not be. But that's what that is. Because what a qualifier is a qualifier basically, and you can look at PSA's, grading standards. What a qualifier says is, well, what they say, and I know this is not verbatim, I'm paraphrasing, but they say, we will, when a card is otherwise a 4, but has something that really stands out, instead of degrading it, we'll put a qualifier on it. So the card is a 4 for all intents and purposes, except for the fact that it is miscut, which is extreme off centering. So take a PSA 4 card with really bad centering, such that the next card is showing up on it. That's what this is. Is that still going to be worth the same as an average 4? Probably not. So 2 points down is just again a general rule. Josh, do you have any thoughts or feelings or anything to add to that?
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to add to that is it's something you elect or you opt into. You ask PSA to do at the time of grading. So I think whoever owned the card, right, would say, wow, this is a super nice copy, but of course there's half of Bobby Hull's name on here. Can you please grade it with a qualifier?
So the default is actually that when you submit with PSA, the default is that they will give you a qualifier. You can elect out, you can check the box that says no qualifiers, in which point this card would likely have graded I'm going to guess a 2.5, maybe a 3 is my guess. That's my guess. Okay, good. Let's keep on going, everybody. We've got the 1969 O-Pee-Chee Gordie Howe, no number, PSA 9, a pretty cool card. If you're working on that Gordie Howe run, this card is definitely in play. And it's just a nice copy. It's got this marquee design going around the frame. I say that I use the word marquee because when Josh and Troy were talking about it, you guys are kind of trying to come up with what the name for that was. And I think it's marquee, like around a mirror.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Yep. I was screaming at my monitor here when it's a marquee. That's what I would call it, fellas. It's a cool card, high grade here at a 9.
I don't think it's a super low pop for a 1969 O-Pee-Chee. I don't know what the population is. Do you happen to have that data, Josh?
I do. Yeah, so the pop on this is actually 195, and the much more rare version is the card with the number. So on the back lower right corner of the card, there should be the card number 193 in this case, and that at a PSA 9 is a pop of 9. So this is pop 195. The non-error numbered version is a pop of 9. That one's much more valuable.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a big pop difference. That's a 20x difference, basically, even 22 or so. Really, really cool card, though. There's Gordie Howe right there, everybody, looking like a dapper grandfather right here, still playing pro hockey. We have a 1970 Swedish Vladimir Tretiak sticker. We're calling it a rookie here. PSA 8, pop 6, none higher. And I don't know for certain what would be considered, or at least consensus would be on what is Tretiak's rookie card, but this might be it. And if this is pop 6, none higher, $850 could buy you his maybe official, or what the hobby considers to be his rookie card. And then we have a PSA 5 O-Pee-Chee Gretzky rookie. Let's take a look at it. Obviously, first thing we notice is the centering. It is definitely off-centered. Left to right looks to be, I don't even know if that's 80-20. That might be worse than 80-20 right there. Probably about 80-20. Seems to also have slight clockwise tilt. And what I'm getting at, what I'm seeing here is the border up here kind of gets a little bit wider as you come down. It's subtle, but I do believe there is some tilt there. Top edge and corners, very nice. Very nice. Left and right edges, very nice as well, except for a bit of a white spot right there and some sort of dark stain. Small, but it is right there. Bottom edge is great. Bottom corners are great for the grade especially. I think the bottom right corner might be the worst of the four, just with a bit of stock coming through there, because that top right corner is wonderful, as is the top left. And then registration-wise, I'm seeing no gap, subtle, almost no gaps between the thin black lines and the blue background. A subtle gap right here. But the oil drop is well placed, not perfect, a little bit to the right. Legs are pretty sharp. Word Oilers and Edmonton seem to be lined up nicely. Good strike with the black plate. You know, outside of the centering, I think this is a great card overall. And I mean, I've seen sixes that have centering like this that might not have as nice of corners and edges. So, you know, for an off-centered 5, this might be a very, very strong copy, at least for what I think. Josh, any thoughts on any of these 3 cards?
Yeah, a couple quick thoughts. So the Gordie Howe, another kind of cool element of the card is it, not for certain on this, but it's got to be one of the earlier sort of insert cards. So if you are a fan of insert, it's kind of, I think that's a little neat twist. We're not used to having a lot of options, of course, for a player back in that time. You just got the base card, maybe an all-star, and that's it. This is the 3rd card in the set. And on the Tretiak, it's kind of cool. I'm by no means an expert on what all the options are, but I would say, though, if we can't decide what a Connor Bedard true rookie is, I don't think we're gonna be able to crack the code for the KHL in 1970. That would be pretty cool. And then on the Gretzky, so here's like a thought exercise that I have on this card that I think we talked about an off-centered Gretzky maybe a couple weeks ago on the show, and I had mentioned my contention that it's this card being even as off-centered as it is a world of difference if it's right to left versus left to right. If you imagine that the right edge of the card is really that first inside border there, it kind of changes the inside border of the Gretzky, and it's almost even. It changes your perception of the card. And my point is not that it is centered, is that from a eye appeal perspective, at least for me, I could convince myself of a card like this. I would have a really hard time if it was off center the other way.
I see what you're talking. You're basically saying that the width of the border on this side here,
yes,
from the mouse here to the edge here,
is very similar to the width from this line to here. That's something I've never considered, but
it changes the whole way you look at the card, doesn't it?
It does, because it's almost like this white part of the team banner is coming up the middle of the border. Like if it was over here, it would actually be off-centered the other way. If that was the way to center the card, centering the card between these thin white lines around the image versus the edge here to the edge here. Josh, this is revolutionary. Somebody call PSA. They've been grading these things wrong the whole time. I'm kidding, but I'm not. Like that. Really a strong argument for off-centered Gretzky's where the center is to the right versus the left from a eye appeal perspective. Yeah,
it changes the whole way you view the card in that case. Like it's the only way I see it now after kind of that sort of clicking with me a while ago. And so, but like I said, if it was off-centered to the same degree the other way, I couldn't get past it.
Yeah, and many of them are. That's really interesting, because now that you've put that into my brain, and this is the first time that's happened, and I'm looking at the card, the centering, when I'm focusing on the image of Gretzky, it's almost dead centered.
I know, it's weird, huh?
Yeah, it is weird. Holy guys, we might have to change everything about the Gretzky rookie based on that comment. Yeah, that's a really neat thing to think about. I say that, but then I'm thinking about a well-centered Gretzky, like, traditionally well-centered. And I would say I still prefer those, but that is a good way to get around if this is the kind of card that you're going to pick up. So yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Here's a contrasting Gretzky here. This is a Topps copy. This is a a BGS 7. And yeah, the centering, I still do prefer this type of centering to the last card, but I certainly see what you're saying. This 7 looks really good to me, guys, centering wise. Slight tilt, slight clockwise tilt, great color, great registration, corners and edges. Okay, some stock showing at the top left, very top left corner, very small amount though. Top right corner is great, top edge is great. Side edges are both like perfect. Bottom edge, as far as I can see, there's some glare at the bottom here, but it looks really good. And the bottom corners look great, except for the bottom right. Bit of stock showing. So I'm guessing it's this corner here and this corner here that brought that grade point down quite a bit. And then if you look closely here of the word Oilers, you can see the yellow plate is offset from the magenta plate, coming down a little bit low and to the right. And we'll see the same thing down here on the oil drop. The yellow plate's almost touching the blue here. If it might actually be touching it. And then it really is evident here on the bottom of the legs, this yellow shadow coming off of his legs. It's not the worst registration issue. There are worse ones. And not a bad copy for a 7 right there. We have the 82 O-Pee-Chee record breaker Gretzky. This is autographed, and PSA has authenticated the autograph. The card is simply slabbed as authentic. That's an early Gretzky autograph, guys. First few years of his career, I know, because I have a card autographed with that's basically the same auto. It's off-centered. No, we can't get around that on this card, Josh. But a neat, in-person auto right there. Before we move on to the SI for kids stuff, because we have several of them, get your thoughts on these two, Josh.
Yeah, obviously the Topps 7 is much more centered, and it's really appealing from that perspective. What gets me on this card is an issue that you've pointed out for a long time when it comes to graders is, I would argue, and you tell me if I'm wrong, this is all stuff I've learned from you, for a Topps Gretzky, this registration is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Typically they're almost perfect. Is that what you would expect, even in a lower grade card? And so, we know that, right, that's an area often missed in grading. And so I don't know if I would pay the 7 price for this card because of that.
Yeah. So I agree with what you said. I think this is a great 7, despite that registration issue. When you zoom out here, you can barely see it. You have to be zoomed in, I think, to really notice it. I think you're right, though. I don't recall seeing a lot of Gretzky Topps rookies with registration issues. So again, you can obviously wait for the copy that speaks most to you, but the centering's also got that bit of tilt. And then as far as is it a 7 with that registration? And this is a BGS card, not a PSA graded card. I just don't know that PSA or BGS or PSA really pay attention to registration on cards, because eye appeal doesn't seem to be much of a thing to them. It's more technical, technical criteria. So that's where you can get an edge as a discerning collector for sure.
Yep.
I want to welcome the professor here. Good evening, professor, and everybody. I haven't mentioned it till now, but I did put the affiliate link to purchase cards in the auction in the YouTube chat. It's at the top of the chat. If you are planning to bid on anything tonight, please click that link first. It'll open up a window for you and will associate any bids you make or purchases that you make with the Sports Cards Live affiliate code. Will earn SCL a small commission. Doesn't cost you anything extra, and I greatly appreciate it, and PWCC does too, because they know you guys are watching, and well, I probably appreciate it more than they do. But thank you for that. And Professor, thank you for using that affiliate link when you do. Okay. Josh, did you have any comments on this Gretzky card?
It's kind of cool. The only thing that I would point out is that the auto is a little hard to see, but I understand though. I think to appreciate this card, it's that this is not a card that, was probably in the moment somewhere in Edmonton outside the arena that he signed for hopefully some kid.
Yeah, you said I started smiling when you said the autograph's hard to see, but that's a common trend right now, getting cards signed by goats with Sharpies that make it really hard to see. If you don't know what I'm referring to, I'm talking about the 6 Jordan PSA 10s that were cracked out, signed by MJ and re-slabbed recently. Okay, we've got some Sports Illustrated for Kids cards tonight, guys. Lots of oddballs in this auction tonight on PWCC Weekly Hockey. The 89 Steve Yzerman PSA 4. It's at $6. Pop 2, 8 graded higher. Listen, you look at these cards and they're not that pretty. That's a weird background color, this kind of camo green design going on, green and aqua maybe. I don't know. But there's something that is just to me, it's just such an ugly card that makes it. And what's ugly is the background design to me. I like the Sports Illustrated logo here. Great shot of Yzerman. I don't even mind this hockey puck logo, puck and stick here. The font the name is in is all nice. It's just that background.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of fun. We've also got the Brett Hull right here in a PSA 6. And we got Raymond Bourque and Grant Fuhr, both in 6s as well. These are perforated, hand perforated, and then slabbed. So, I thought we'd take a look at them because they are fun. I think they're fun, and they're sometimes a card with this kind of weird background can actually grow on you over time. And it's just kind of a novelty that they're so kind of ugly and in design, but cool cards nonetheless. Early cards, semi-early cards for all these players here, considering they all have many post-playing days cards. Josh, what are your thoughts on these SI for Kids, the 4 of them here?
I don't really know. Personally, there's a nostalgic tie because I had Sports Illustrated for Kids and remember getting the magazine with those perforated sheets of cards in them. And then as you're talking, I was thinking about what the most valuable SI for Kids card is. Would it be Tony Hawk? Am I right there?
Yeah, it's either Tony Hawk. There's a Mia Hamm that's sold for, shy just in the low 5 figures, I believe. And then there's the more recent Victor Wembanyama, but I don't know what that card sells for. I haven't really seen many of those. Yeah.
And I think where I appreciate
Tiger Woods is the big one. Yeah.
Where I appreciate this more is for the Tony Hawk of the world, where there really wasn't a card option at that time, where, would I choose one of these over a hockey card of that player? Probably not.
Yeah. No, I hear you. These are fun, novelty, cheap card. They're all under $10 right now, guys. So we are into all access extended bidding, by the way. 25 minutes left in this first 30-minute all access extended bidding window. We had two more. So these are the 1990 version with the green, with that sexy green background. And then we got a couple from 93 with a purple and blue background. Also, like, these are no nicer than the ones from 1990, but I do think I like the colors better. They're funny looking cards. Like, these are not something I think O-Pee-Chee would have done back in the day. PSA 8 here on the Jagr, and the Eric Lindros is also a PSA 8. I think that's it. Well, here's an Ovechkin from 2006 SI for kids as well, but that's 13 years later. So, Josh, any comments on the 93s or similar stuff, I guess?
Yeah, I remember those too. I had both the green bordered and those. And like I said, I think if you're our age or a little bit younger and we're a child of the early 90s, that this is something that for that nostalgic reason would, I think, really appeal to you. But yeah, they're cool.
They're cool. They're cheap. Fun little cards for sure. All right. Well, we've got a Jagr O-Pee-Chee Premier rookie card. This is graded a 10 in the card. The autograph is an in-person auto, also graded a 10 by PSA. And I don't know the population on this, but
I do.
This is Josh does. And this card without the auto is, I believe, what, number 1 or number 2 all-time graded or PSA 10 population. But Josh, why don't you tell us what you know about this?
Yeah, so it's not the highest PSA 10 population. It's the card that's been graded the most. It has a little bit lower gem rate than a lot of other cards. So the PSA 10 pop of a non-auto version, just the base version, would be 3,707 as about a week ago. The pop on this one is 42. But here's where I have a question, though, that I'm hoping actually you can answer for me. If you look up this card on like the cert verification and you go into the PSA DNA tab, it says 42. Is that the pop for the Gem Mint card grade? Or do they don't seem to break it down for the auto 10 grade as well? Like, if that distinction is important to you.
I do not know the answer to that. My assumption would be that when you punch in this serial number into their website, which I'm going to do right now just to see what it looks like. I'm going to go to the app here, and I'm going to just log in 8666774 from the serial number. It's going to bring me up the population here. And it says, just like you mentioned, pop 42. Now I'm going to touch the 42. That's going to take me to the website now. And card 50. Yeah, card number 50. I'm going to scroll down.
It would be easier if you just searched for Jagr, because you have to go to the PSA DNA tab.
You have to go to the PSA. That's weird because, oh, okay. Hold on a second. That's interesting. The app is not, the PSA app, it doesn't seem to me is set up to do that, to take.
So right at the top, like right where you have card 1, right above that, there should be another link to, because that just defaults to the base set. And then there's a PSA DNA that has the pop report for the auto cards.
Yeah. So okay, I got it now. My feeling is that the population is only on the autograph grade. So okay. That's my feeling, is that there are 42 PSA 10 autos, or maybe what it is, Josh, is that there's maybe it's different. Maybe it is 42 PSA 10 graded cards, and then the auto grade just doesn't matter. Maybe it's all auto grades. I don't know which one of those two things
or a lot of them don't even have an auto grade. And I'm glad.
No. Oh, you're saying because they're just certified as authentic.
Yeah, it could just be Gem Mint 10 auto authentic. We see a lot of those. And why I think this is an important issue going forward is because, as we know, in the last year, getting that card grade Gem Mint, or the card graded the Gem Mint 10 and the auto 10, has been quite a premium, but there's really no way to understand what the true pop is on those two specific grades.
Yeah, maybe when PSA, I have heard that they are upgrading their whole website, and I've heard also that this population, the set registry, the pop reports live on ancient servers. I think I heard Nat Turner say that on a podcast. I think once they, take all that money that the hobby's feeding them day after day and invested in upgrading their technology, maybe they'll be able to break that out. Hopefully they have that data, because I don't know it would be good. It would be interesting to know how many 1010s are there. And I don't think that that the pop report tells us that. At least I'm not able to definitively say or glean that information from what I'm looking at there. So it is important. I agree with you. It is definitely important. Very cool card. And it is a nice autograph on this copy too. Like, he got as much of it kind of away from the dark hockey socks and pants he's wearing and keep it on the ice. So this is a really cool card. Might be one of the better, if not one, might be the best Jagr rookie card possible, being the premier with the nice clean autograph on it. He also has a score rookie card where he looks a little freaky. If you know the card, yeah. He looks kind of like he's totally flustered and something. And anyway, in any event, though, this is the Eric Lindros score Canadian rookie card, PSA 10, sitting at $41 right now. Fun to see what these do. Very, very common card, not hard to find. But do you happen to know the population on this one, Josh?
No idea.
Don't. I'm going to check it quickly, guys. I'm curious what the pop is. That looks like 7. I got to open it up. Let's have a look and see what the population is. 72034856. Population on the score Canadian Lindros is 112. Oh no, that didn't work. That brought me up. I typed in 42. That brought up a Mike Schmidt card. So we're gonna change the number to get it proper here and re-verify. Population is 642. So yeah. Plenty to go around. And it's the word score in red that indicates that this is the Canadian version. If that was in blue, it would be American. And of course, the back has English and French. All right.
One quick comment, sorry, I want to make on the Jagr, I guess, similar to what you said too, is to me, I actually think this is a pretty special card. And, there were no rookie autos in 1990. So it's not like you're choosing an in-person auto over a card that was manufactured to intended to have the auto. And if you add the fact that, again, there's a little bit of interpretation that's missing from PSA about how, how many of the 42 have the PSA 10 auto 10 grade, but you have to assume it's less. That I think you're right. I mean, I think there is a chance that this could be, in a lot of people's eyes, maybe the finest Jagr auto. And so to me, it makes that very appealing. The scary thing, though, about if I was like thinking, well, do I invest a ton of money in this card, is who knows how many more autos he's going to sign. And there's 3,707 PSA 10s that could be easily cracked and have him sign another copy. And so you can't guarantee that pop 42 won't go up at some point.
Yeah, that pop can definitely go up from there. It's at $625 right now, which is very strong. If it wasn't autographed, it is, of course. I think it's about $350, $400 non-autoed, and here we're at $625 for the autographed copy. All right, we talked about these SI for kids already. There's this 1991 Alan Kay's Wayne Gretzky card, PSA 10, Pop 3, and I believe Alan Kay's was a magazine. I think I have some issues of it on my hobby magazine shelf up there, actually, and if I do, I hope I have the Gretzky inside of it. Hand-cut card from the magazine, PSA 10. That's a nice shiny foil going around the outer border. I don't love the looks of this card, Josh. It's an oddball, but for a complete Gretzky run, kind of a cool piece to add to it. $34, not going to cost you a lot of money. Any comments on it?
Never heard of Alan Kay's Sports Cards News.
Yeah,
that's a new one for me.
As far as all these SI for kids cards go that we have been looking at here, Schwab's made the comment, first time seeing those, kind of love them. Yeah, I get that for sure. I want to thank the professor for using the SCL promo code for the submission. So just to clarify, there's an SCL affiliate code to bid, and then if you're going to submit cards, you can use simply SCL as an affiliate code if you're submitting cards.
and of course, greatly appreciate it. Chris Perkins called out Tiger Woods. I think I beat you just to it, Chris. I saw that comment come in just after I remembered about it. The professor points out that Tiger Woods' son has a SI for Kids card as well. And Ali just logged in. Totally dig Josh's hat. Ali, maybe you're watching from the beginning because we talked about Josh's hat at the top of the show. Rajanaldo, welcome to the show. Viva la Colombia. All right. We have a very nice, important, I feel, Alex Ovechkin rookie card from 0506 Ice. These are at a 99. They've lost their luster in recent years in the hobby. There's just so many more cards out there. But back in the early days of the, post-lockout era, 2000 after 2004, these Ice cards were they were right up there in as far as importance goes with Upper Deck the Cup and SP Authentic Future Watch Autos and Young Guns. This would have been like the next kind of, not that they're, when I say next, I mean as far as like popularity. And even though the Young Gun is much more prevalent out there as far as print run goes, it's still a more important card, I feel. It's just more popular and important among collectors. But this Ice card was extremely important back then. And I think it probably still is for the Crosbys and Ovechkins from this year. I love the card. I always wanted one. I don't think I ever owned this Alex Ovechkin rookie, and I owned, several of every other card of his, including multiple Cup rookies at one time or another. I love the card. BGS 9.5, $3,700. I think that's a great deal. That's about what a Young Gun goes for, right? A Young Gun, like
pretty much.
PS, we're talking, yeah. Like this is an amazing deal right now. If you grew up in those 05 era, you're like, how is this only 3,700? We're not in that era anymore. Things have changed, so you got to look at it a bit differently. But I love it, Josh. What do you know about this card?
Yeah, I love them as well, and it's sold for significantly more than that, especially going back into the pandemic. And I'm trying to choose my words carefully here. For a lot of like really important cards, I feel like that there hasn't been enough oversight on what I'll call like checklist management lately. And I'll give you an example. So in the latest edition of Upper Deck Ice, you had, not only is there more than the out of 99, there's Ice Premieres out of $12.99, out of $9.99, $11.99. There's about 12 parallels. And where they really kind of tipped me over the edge on it is they have the Ice Premieres 99 and it's designated for the top rookies, just like you see with the Cup, right? Not every rookie gets only the best rookies get the Cup out of 99. Others are 249. Is they made a parallel of the 99 as well. So in the most recent issue of 2023 Ice, there's 2 Ice Premieres out of 99. And what I think happens, Jeremy, is just waters these cards down to the point where they're no longer, you can't tell why this particular one is special. It doesn't stand out anymore. And so when you
of the 2 versions, is one like a retro version or an autograph version, or
it's a green version, parallel?
I can't keep track of all these new parallels that Upper Deck's coming out with between achievements and EPAC stuff. I can't really keep track, but what I would like to add to what you're saying is that in these early days, in this year 0506, I believe there were only 6 players out of 99. Everyone else was out of 499 or one of those other numbers, and you mentioned it, Josh. They tiered them. There was some were out of 1,199, maybe 799, 499, 99, like Ovechkin, Crosby, I think Thomas Vanek, Corey Perry, maybe Ryan Getzlaf, Zach Parise. These guys might have been out of 99 back then. Though their cards don't matter so much, but Ovechkin and Crosby's do.
Yep.
And what the point you're making, and what the problem I have is that, unfortunately, it might have an impact on the original goodness that was the 0506 cards. We see it with other things Upper Deck's been doing, where it just kind of makes you lose interest in those earlier versions. So hopefully that shouldn't matter, because nothing changed about the product this came out in. And I can tell you, these were impossible hits. Hitting any out of 99 was impossible. Never mind a Crosby or Ovechkin. So it's a great card. I can't imagine it's going to sell at 3,700 plus BP here, but if it does, I think is getting a great deal. Builder Boo says the 2021 Kaprizov Ice Premiers is my favorite card in my whole PC. Not my most expensive, but my absolute favorite. Yeah, red, green, gold, and black parallels. There we go. All right, let's keep rolling, guys. There's the SI for Kids second year card of Alexander Ovechkin. And you can see in this one that it was a corner, bottom right corner of the page, because a nice clean right at, oh no, it wasn't. It was the middle of the right column, because you do see perforations along the top, the left edge, and the bottom. Graded out a PSA 8. Kind of a cool card for, not a rookie year card, but second year. And then we have a couple of Gretzky autos. Here's a buyback auto from 2008 O-Pee-Chee. This came out in 2009. The autograph is decent. Let's open this image too for that black lustrous. So there you go. The autograph is pretty good. You can see a lot of it, not all of it. You're kind of missing the part over the hockey pants here. Maybe not the best card to choose for a buyback, but it's still an autograph on there. And if those recent Michael Jordan autographs are any sign, this is a far superior looking autograph. And then you've got the 2009 Upper Deck Black Lustrous Materials auto. Now this image does not do the card any favors, because this is sort of an acetate see-through part of the card. So if you hold this up against the light, that autograph is going to absolutely shine. You will see it nicely. Looks like two black jersey pieces right in here. Game used. Card grades an 8. The auto is graded as a 9. Not a bad card. Again, the image does not help it. These cards are nicer than this makes it look. Josh, what do you think of these Gretzkys?
In theory, super cool. I don't know if you know this, but I've turned in my resume at Upper Deck. I want to be the VP of markers. And because I think that's like a small thing that could have a big impact for them. So a really good friend of mine, he's on the hobby, my friend Neil, Irish Fires collector, huge Sean Couturier guy, and he'll go to signings and he'll pick out cards that he wants to get signed. He'll buy 20 different markers. He'll buy base cards from that set and spend and do test autos to find the perfect pen that grabs to the card, that pops so you can see, so the signature doesn't get lost on the card. And I sometimes feel at Upper Deck that they just take whatever random marker was laying around. And like on that Gretzky Lustrous card, had that had a silver auto, in my mind, it changes the entire dynamic of that card.
Right. But then if you hold that card up against the light, it's going to blend in with the light background. I hear what you're saying. And just to defend Upper Deck briefly, because I saw this with my own two eyes. When I was at the Upper Deck facility in 2009, I was there with Carvin, and he gave me a full tour. And I remember, I can see it in my head. There was a room. Maybe it was you for something else, but I remember a big long table with a whole bunch of markers and a whole bunch of like stock that they used to use to do the same thing. All I could say, Josh, is that maybe you would have done it better than they were doing it back then. And maybe at times they didn't completely go through the process of seeing what the best mark would be for each card. But I got to give them some credit. They did have a selection of markers, a selection of card stocks on this one table. I remember seeing it with my own two eyes.
And so. I'm sure I'm oversimplifying it. It's not as easy. It's not easy to corral these players to sign. And so I'm sure that there's some times when it's at an all-star game or NHL event where they got him for 3 minutes and they're trying to get him to sign 10 cards really quick or something like that. So I'm not trying to be overly critical. I see it as not as a way to cast or to throw stones, but as missed opportunities. That's the part that gets me.
Name said that the Rene Bourque rookie from 0506 Ice was made out of 2,999 copies. I forgot about that level name, but that sure brings the price down on those cards. Phil says the blue Crayola 1 centimeter with Gretzky on the clear cuts this year are bonkers. Yeah, I gotta make sure to remember to look at that. Okay, guys, next row we have a Nazem Kadri exclusive Young Guns out of 100. He plays for my Calgary Flames right now. I think he's a great player. I don't know how much Hobby Love he gets. Close to nil on the Hobby Love side, but this card's up to $100. People are probably collecting the exclusives set from various years. This is the 2010. And we have 2 Gretzky inserts from 2012 Fleer Retro, 2 of my favorites, the Electrifying here in a PSA 10. I look over there. I've got my tag 10 copy right over there. You got, it's a pristine tag also. I think it's a 990 I got. Electrifyings were made very well. They did not mess up the printing process with these Electrifyings. And then we got the Noise Boys BGS 9 sitting here. And look at this. The Noise Boys in the BGS 9 is $500, while the Electrifying in the PSA 10 is $370. That's probably because the Noise Boys were much rarer, pack odds wise, to pull. I love both of these cards, guys. Absolutely love them. I think I have a Gretzky Noise Boys, but to be honest, I'm not 100% certain. I would have to look through my Dropbox or my box of inserts actually to confirm if I have it. Maybe I don't. I'm not sure. In any event, got to get one day. I love them. Josh, I know you like your Fleer Retro inserts. How do you find that these two kind of rank among some of the others?
I love them all equally. I was walking my dog today, and here's the thought I actually had. I would rather open a box of 2012 Fleer Retro than a tin of the Cup. Does that make me weird?
No, I mean, no. I no. It's probably a box of Fleer Retro is probably about $1,000 right now. I don't know what it,
Yeah, it's about equivalent. I think it's about $800, and that's kind of what if I had $800 to choose. I love this set. It's my all-time favorite set of all time. If you go through all of the inserts, it's amazing. It's like one hit after another. And actually, what I appreciate, as much grief as I've given Upper Deck on beating good inserts to death by constantly reprinting them, they've never, and it's kind of mind-blowing, they've never done Electrifying again.
That's a good thing.
I know, it's a great thing. I hope they never do it again either. I really do. Because these cards are amazing. And then I actually have a question for you on Kadri. So I was reading about him, and I'm only asking you this because you're a Calgary guy. The perspective that I read was he's a great player, obviously a fan favorite on the team, but you guys are you're in total rebuilding mode right now. So it's kind of probably not fair to him to keep him on the team. Do you see them moving him at some point to a contender, like around the trade deadline?
Yeah, I do. I agree. Like, he's probably my favorite player on the Calgary Flames right now, which is almost atrocious for me to say, because I was not a fan of his before he came here, but he's kind of in that, he's got a bit of that same mold as Marchand and Matthew Tkachuk. You love him when he's on your team. I love Kadri on the Flames. I feel bad for him that he is on the Flames because he doesn't have any chance of winning anything here. We are in deep rebuild mode now. We have him and Jonathan Huberdeau. Poor Hubert. Well, Huberdeau is just a mess. So I don't know what we do about that. Hopefully
he gets $10 million a year. So let's not.
Yeah. I know he's not a mess that way, but he's definitely a mess on the ice. And I'd like to see us move both those guys just for more future draft pick assets or prospects. So yeah. Okay. We have a Connor McDavid 2013 in the game Heroes and Prospects auto. This is 2 years before his NHL rookie cards came out. It's a BGS 9. This is a sticker auto, by the way. It's not going to be an on card. In the game did a pretty good job of disguising that, but I can just tell you firsthand that is not an on card autograph right there. This McDavid. And we have 2 second-year Panini Prism Golds on the block tonight. The Henrik Lundqvist, which will definitely outsell the Radko Gudas. Both out of 10. Both PSA 10 on the Gudas and PSA 9 on the Lundqvist. Again, second-year Prism Golds. Pretty cool cards. Here you are, $320 on the Lundqvist itself. Josh, have you kind of jumped on the whole Prism Gold train at all?
No, not gold. I mean, I'd like to. I just bought a Datsuk red something out of 50, like red wave out of 50. So I have a numbered out of 51.
Yeah, those are nice too. The golds are beautiful. I'm a fan. If you're a player collector, I recommend them. I have Solani. I have both Solanis. Oh, there we go. The end of the first extended bidding window is just ended. Let's see if we have any sold cards beneath. So let's keep on going now. There's a Alex Ovechkin red Prism, PSA 9, second year Prism. We've got a Wayne Gretzky Grand Finale Retro from 2014 out of 50. His original grand finale from 1997 is also out of 50, and that would be in the several thousands of dollars, not $115 if this was the 97 version. And then finally from 2015 Fleer Showcase, we have a Flair Blue Ice Gretzky numbered at a 99 and a PSA 10. I'm not a big fan of like row zero cards. This reminds me of those, but this one is nice. I like this card. I like the look. Two different images of him on the front, some nice foil going on, and the back of the card has the serial number. Let's take a quick look at the back. Like, this is a card that if anyone here wins it, I'll be very happy for you. I'll be happy for you on any card you win that you like. There it is, 12 and 99 right there. I like these blue ice from 2015 Fleer Showcase. Josh, what do you think of these Gretzkys and even the Ovechkin?
Yeah, I think they're all kind of cool. They're kind of in my wheelhouse of sort of the stuff that I've been gravitating to. I agree with you. The 15 Showcase Flair Blue Ice Gretzky is a pretty cool card. I dig it.
Definitely. A couple comments before we keep going. Phil does say it does make you weird, Josh, you would open up the 2012 retro over the tin of the cup, but that's Phil. That's he'll bug you on the Gong Show too. Doghouse Hockey agrees with you, as does Chad Bellany, as does the guy above you here on the screen. I do too, Josh. Phil, I'm not going to say you're not the weird one, so we'll just let that comment sit there for a little bit, and we'll just read we're going to leave that comment there for Phil and read other people's comments. The professor says, playing on Josh's comment, do we walk our dogs or do dogs actually walk us? Very philosophical, very interesting comment, Professor. We'll have to get to that another time. And Chad Bellany says, don't change, Phil. I love your weirdness. That's very nice, Chad. Let's put your comment on there, but let's put Phil's back on there and leave it there for a few minutes just for fun. Ovechkin Red Prism getting some bids. The Gretzky Grand Finale also had a couple of bids as well, since we talked about it. I think if I'm picking a favorite on this row, Josh, I'm going with this one right here. Which one are you going with?
100%.
Same one.
Yeah.
Same one. All right. A couple of McDavids have sold. The Popeye card right here, guys. The Popeye card from 2015 SPX, the Stick Wizards PSA 10 sold for $180. Pop 10. It's not a tough card. And then his SP Game Used rookie year Copper Parallel, numbered out of $399, sells for $156, which is, it's a rookie. I consider it a rookie card. I guess it's a rookie card parallel. And it's got jersey too. I wish it didn't have a piece of jersey in it, but it does. In any event, not a card for me. Sells for $156. And then his O-Pee-Chee Platinum base marquee rookie PSA 10 sells for $210. Josh, jump in at this point. I want to see what else has sold below.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I'm going to make a kind of a snarky comment, but I don't care. On the McDavid O-Pee-Chee Platinum, if I present to the jury Exhibit 1A of why I think the concept of true rookies is no longer relevant, because this would be the true rookie in O-Pee-Chee Platinum, and it's sold for $200. I rest my case.
Yeah, so I think one of the issues with that, Josh, and you probably know this, it's an insert this year. It's numbered M1. So is it a true rookie that year? And this I think
an update.
They changed it. They changed the way that they numbered these cards, I think, the very next year. But in 2015, they called it M1, which was just a bad call by Upper Deck on that particular card on that day. But I thought that's where you're going with this. I thought you were saying like it should have been his true rookie. It's not, but it everything else is going for it except the numbering on the back. Even Upper Deck admitted moving forward by changing the numbering convention on the marquee rookies to make them part of the set that this was a mistake they made and it should have been an actual rookie card. Those are my thoughts. Okay, Phil, I'm ready to take the comment down now. I'm glad to have it up there for a while. Good stuff. Now's not the time to talk to Phil, says Louis. I don't know what that's about. Larry, what's going on? Welcome. It is still going. Okay. Next row, McDavid Champs Auto rookie year at $2,400, guys. BGS 9.5. That's a big card. A Joe Sakic buyback auto sells for $360, and a Connor McDavid clear-cut exclusives sells for $630. Now we get into the Connor Bedard portion of the evening, guys. Dazzler's Orange does $50. SP1 PSA 9 does $396. Glossy Gold in a PSA 9 does $40. And two Young Guns, a PSA 10 does $990, and a PSA 9 does $324. I think last or 2 weeks ago, Josh, we saw them selling for about $1,030, $1,080. So still pretty close within that same range. Okay, guys, let's scroll up now. There's a bid coming in on the Noise Boys. Nice to see. Electrifying's had some bids. Kadri sells for $120. The Ovechkin SI for Kids does $25. $10 on these two. $4,440 on the Ovechkin Ice Rookie. The SI for Kids don't even get $10, guys. That's with buyer's premium. Meanwhile, Alan K's Gretzky does get $41. The Jagr autograph Premier sells for $780. The Lindros Rookie $50. The Brett Hall SI for Kids $8. As does Yzerman $8. Gretzky Topps BGS 7 sells for $1,260. The autograph is still going. The Gordie Howe, no number from 1969 sells for $216. The PSA 50 Peachy Gretzky 4. The Montreal Victoria sells for $67. And the first single hockey player, Frank Patrick from C56 in 1910, sells for $1,020. I'm going to refresh this screen now to push all the sold cards down to the bottom, and let's see how many we are left with. Meanwhile, the professor, for big bucks, bought the 94 Bowman's Best Veteran Refractor with coating Joe Sakic. It's that professor. When I was going through it, I almost clicked that card to make it a favorite. So it was an honorable mention to make the show tonight, by the way. So nice pickup. I think that's a nice looking card. All right, Josh, we are down to 15 of 41 cards are still alive for us tonight. And we have 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in this second level of all access extended bidding. These are 5-minute windows. So you're seeing the orange colors here on the ticking down clock, and the green. Orange ones mean we need a bid or else that card will sell for the current price. Green means it's going to go for at least 5 more minutes. So let's play a game now, Josh. Let's play a game. Let's play Would You Rather, and let's just go down the rows. Before we do, I just want to read one comment that just came in right now from Dave Snyder. Says, Jeremy, greetings from land below the lakes. Love your auction content. Want more edgy stuff from you. Please hit the hard topics on other shows you do, please. You're not watching everything, Dave. You're obviously not watching everything, my man, because I'm hitting them. I feel like I'm hitting them. So you got to watch more. But appreciate you saying hello. All right. Would you rather, Josh, this row here? This isn't fun. It's obviously the Gordie. It's obviously the Bobby Orr. So that maybe doesn't make so much sense. We can play it on this row, though. Oh, yeah, this row is fine. Would you rather have one of these Gretzky autos or the electrifying?
Electrifying 100%.
100%. Yeah, me too. James Wynn even backs me up, says he hits him hard and calls out the scammer. So thank you, James. Okay, this isn't working out kind of really. Oh, we can play it on this row here. Would you rather have a retro grand finale, a 13 red prism Ovechkin, or a Radko Gudas prism gold? Josh, over to you.
The Ovechkin.
The Ovechkin, hey? Yeah, see, I think I would too. And it's hard not to. You look at the price, you think, why would you want this one? It's worth a third of this. I do not like these I don't like grand finales. Just not something that I personally like. Guys, 12 seconds left in this level. The Henrik Lundqvist just got a bid up to $340. What is green? We need 4 seconds, or this Bobby Orr is going to sell for about $3,300, $3,240, I believe. Let's let it flip over. $3,240 on this really nice miscut Bobby Orr, but probably the nicest miscut I've ever seen right there. Yeah. The Gretzky Lustrous sells for $420 because you can barely see the autograph. The McDavid pre-rookie or, junior card sells for $384. And the Champs Auto 2880. I think that's fair.
One just sold on June 20th for $5,000.
June 20th, this exact same card and grade, $5,000 on PWCC.
No, eBay.
Interesting. I wonder what happened, what the difference is there. Really interesting.
Well, I think that was right around the end of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Could be
And so
for sure.
there's a little bit of speculative McDavid buying, and it's not a bad card. It's just it's not numbered. I think that hurts it a little bit as far as and it's Champs, which doesn't really exist even anymore.
Yeah. All right, let's refresh and push these sold cards back down to the bottom. Mike Kemmel, there we go. Swedish stickers. The Tretiak, that Tretiak is considered as rookie. So, you're not picking this up for under $2,000 right now, Mike. I don't know what you'll have to pay, but I believe that this is considered to be Tretiak's rookie card. If you look at somewhere on the PSA website, when you were looking at one of the registries, it did name, I think it was UD Retro had a Legends card from like 1999 where they had a Tretiak in it. And some people, there's some faction of the hobby that considers that to be the Tretiak rookie. I don't know. I can't consider any, card that comes out after the guy's been retired for 10 years to be a rookie card. That's just a card. At that point, you don't have a rookie card. So there you go. There's another bit up to 16.25 now. So you were wrong. How rare are they? That's a great question. Well, this is a pop 6 with none graded higher, and it's only a PSA 8. So how many were totally graded by PSA? Well, let's find out. We can actually find that out. I'll put the serial number, Mike, into the PSA app here, 70613006. And let's see what it tells us. Because I'm not looking for, we know what the pop is. PWCC told us, but I want to know how many were totally graded. This is card number 314. Tells you how many cards are in the set. And there have been a total of 29 copies ever submitted to PSA. 6 8s, 3 7s, 2 6s. Just want to see what the grade with the most. Yes. Actually, there's more 8s than there are any other grade point. If you go down from 8, like 7 6, it goes population of 6, pop 3, pop 2, 4 3 2, 4 PSA 2s, 1 1. Couple of half grades in there. So it's rare, man. Mike Kemmel, it is rare.
Well, if I can add to that too, Jeremy, I just looked up while you were looking up the pop report on Card Ladder. Their sales history, it's not all encompassing, but it goes back 20 years. They only have 15 ever sales of any copy of one of these stickers.
Yeah. It's a tough piece. I think I've seen it 3 times in the last 4 years doing auction coverage shows. So that's about where I'm at. The professor picked up the Radko Gudas. Oh, wait, this one here? There is a low priced Prism Gold. Yeah, we're covering it tonight, Professor. The Radko Gudas rookie card. He's still in the league. This guy's not he's an enforcer kind of player. But he's Radko Gudas. He's not gonna command a big premium even for a gold. But it is certainly a low price copy, as the professor says. So what are we down to here? We got 28 seconds left. All 3 of these cards are going to the next window. So are these 2. The Lundqvist needs a bid to get to the next one, the next window. All 3 of these are going. And the McDavid O-Pee-Chee Platinum needs one. I love David G's question that just hit. Let's watch the clock tick down, David G. Then we're going to talk about that because I got stuff to say about it. All right, let's see what sold here. All right, so is that going to go green? Why isn't that green? Okay, so these all are still going. The Henrik Lundqvist sells for $408.
And that's the only one that sold that's outside of the OPG Platinum Connor McDavid that did $300. So we should now be down to, unless I forgot a level, a refresh here. Let's see. We've got the top row stays intact for the most part. Noise Boys gets a bid, 3-6. We're down to 9 cards that we are watching that are still alive in the auction. And so far, these 3 are all still orangey red. They need bids. The 2 Fleer Retros get bids, Josh's favorites, the Electrifying and the Noise Boys is up to $1,025 on the Noise Boys. That's nice to see. And Tretiak is up to 17 and a quarter now. All right, David G's questions, Josh. 2 great questions here. Let's start with the second one. Is there a Grail Fleer metal card in hockey? Yeah, that would probably be the Wayne Gretzky PMG Green. I'm very proud and honored to own a copy. I think that would be the number 1 card to come out of Fleer. Well, Fleer came out of Fleer Retro. So does that count? It's kind of a metal card. I don't know, Dave. I don't know if you mean like year over year or all time, or if you're talking about like all the different Fleer sets that had, because, you know, they put out Fleer Retro, had some metal cards. They put out Fleer Showcase, had some metal cards. Then they put out Fleer, what's it called now, Josh? Metal.
Skybox Metal Universe.
Metal Universe. Thank you. That's what I was brain farting on. Metal Universe. Exactly. So, yeah. Thank you, Dave Snyder. Metal Universe. Exactly. So, but if you're talking about all Fleer metal over all years in hockey, the one card has to be that Gretzky PMG Green. There are others. There's Essential Credentials that have come out of the products. There's Jambalayas. There's so many great ones. I almost don't want to pick out the one Grail because there's almost multiples, and Grail's maybe a loose word to use in this case, but maybe it's not. Maybe if you had to pick one Grail, it would be that Gretzky Green. That'd be my.
Would that be in your top 10 favorite cards
in my personal collection?
Yeah.
Hard not to put it. Probably be in my top 10 most valuable. Maybe. I'm not sure. But favorites, it's going to be up there. It's going to be up there, Josh. I don't know if it's going to make my top 10. Like I think I probably like my Pee Wee Reese rookie card more than I like the Gretzky Green because I just love I love vintage, you know? I love modern too. I don't know. I see so many posts of like top 10 favorite cards or my Mount Rushmore of my PC, and I think it would be fun to do a post like that. And then I think I would lose my mind. I would stress out. I would literally I would be too stressed to be able to pick 4 favorites. I love so many of the cards I have. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. It's like when Adam Gray does his top 100 countdown on Instagram, which he took a couple years off. He's doing it again now. He ranks it by value because it's the only way that he can actually do it without his heart getting in the way too much, because otherwise it's hard to do it. I can't rank them. It's like ranking your children. So I know it's a crazy analogy, but it kind of is. Okay, so that was the second David G question. The first one, which I like the question even more, is this one here. Are stickers considered cards? The answer, I don't think, is so cut and dry, David. I think the answer is yes and no. And I know that's not a great answer. I think that according to the PSA set registry, yes, they count within the set registry of, are they cards or are they just considered collectibles? To me, they're not really cards. I also don't consider booklets to be cards. A card that opens up 3 or 4 times, it's a booklet. An oversized, like the Michael Jordan Nike promo. To me, that's not a card. It's a type of card. It's more of a postcard. It's an advertising insert. Is it a card? Not to me. But I think I'm probably in the minority here. I don't like oversized cards unless it was all that came out in the year, like 69 basketball, 64 hockey, the tall boys, and the 65 football with the Joe Namath rookie. Like, to me, those are cards, but I don't like oversized pieces. The sportscasters are not cards to me. I would never consider that to be a rookie card. So, David, it's a tough one. There's maybe there needs to be some sort of rule made, or some, Victor, the rookie card specialist, could maybe add another channel. Victor, the size of card specialist or something. I don't know. But that's why I like the question, David, because I don't know the answer. Meanwhile,
I don't think they are. I think it's a cousin.
Cousin's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's a relative. It's a cousin. Okay, the in-person autograph on the 82 Gretzky record breaker sells for $240. The Gretzky retro grand finale that came out in 2014 sells for $288, where the original is, in the $4,000 or $5,000 range. The Blue Ice Gretzky at a 99, which I hope if any of you out here bought it, let me know, because I just want to congratulate you. I love the card. Sells for $324. And that means we've lost 3 of 9. We're down to 6 cards left. 2 more 5-minute windows left right now. And already we have a bid on the Noise Boys up to $1,175. We have a bid on the Electrifying up to $700. The other 4 cards still need bids. So Josh, these retros that we both love are doing pretty well right now. Doghouse Hockey calls out the ice carving superpowers are also amazing. Well, Doghouse, right in my, I'll just let you guys see what I'm looking at when I here, Josh. I'm just going to spotlight myself for a moment. Yeah, right there. So guys, if you can see this here, that is my Gretzky Tag 10 Pristine Electrifying. You can't see them very well. I'm sorry about it. These are all ice carved. Oh, not ice carvings. Sorry, these are the Lethal Weapon. Oh, no, these are ice carvings. My bad. These are ice carving superpowers. These 4 right here. Ice carving superpowers. I got the 2 lethal weapons over here. And then some more stuff above. But those are all, this showcase here is all tag slabs. And this is all PSA slabs, just if anyone's wondering. All right, unspotlight me. Back to comments. Yeah, love the inner turmoil. I hear you, Dave. I hear you. Professor wants to know, did I grade my Gretzky green PMG? Did I grade it or did I buy it graded? I graded it. I graded by PSA and it came back a PSA 7. I have all 3. I have the green, the red, and the blue. They're all PSA 7s, actually. And I think the red I bought graded, the blue I had graded. Northern Lights Entertainment, what's going on? Is that card actually labeled Vladimir on the slab? His name is Vladislav. Good question. Let's go in and take a look. It is labeled Vladimir. They got his name wrong. Northern Lights notices that. I didn't even notice that before. Let's go in and look at the back. Did they even have his name right on the back? Look at that. It's right there. Vladimir. And PSA puts Vladimir. It's okay. So at least PSA copied what's on the card, Northern Lights. This is the goalie. You can definitely recognize him from the image. This is definitely the goalie, but his name is Vladislav, not Vladimir. So did Panini Italy get this wrong in 1970? Looks like they did. Yeah, it is the goalie. You are justifiably confused here, Northern Lights Entertainment. Justifiably.
Well, even the last name is spelled. I wonder if it's a Sweden thing and like how Sweden translated it, because like if you look him up on Wikipedia, his last name is Tretiak, Tertiak, not Tertjak.
Yeah, I think that might be like the Italian translation of the word, maybe. There's often different spellings for these guys, for Russian players. Sometimes, like even Bobrovsky's name has been spelt with the I in at the very in between the K and the Y, or without it by Upper Deck at times. It does happen. It happens, but it'd be nice if they would get it right for sure. All right, 6 cards left, 45 seconds in this window. It's the second last of the 5-minute windows. Another bid just came in on the Ovechkin Red Prism up to $105. We need a bid on Radko Gudas, or it's going to sell for $39. And these 3 up here are also going to go into the next window here. So we're going to wait and see what happens. Here's a question, Josh. I know you like the Electrifying, as do I. What do you prefer, the Electrifying or the Noise Boys?
No, that's a tough one. I actually like the card design of Electrifying, and I'll explain to you why. I think there's a cool artistic decision that was made on this card. And so I really like the gold kind of background. But then you have the hockey puck in the lower left corner, and you have, of course, the lightning bolts emanating from the puck. And what the card designer decided to do in this case is they put the lightning bolts on top of the player. So it's actually like, if you think of the card designed in layers, right? You'd have the background, and then you'd have the Gretzky in the middle, and the puck and the Lightning. Where I think normally what they would do is in most cases put that in the background. And so I'm kind of a nerd in that way, but I really appreciate the uniqueness and how they kind of chose to sort of like add that almost depth to the card by putting Gretzky in that middle layer.
Right. Yeah. I think I prefer it like this too. I think I prefer to have all the lightning that as you said, it emanates from the puck here in the bottom left. I think I prefer that these lightning strikes actually do go over Gretzky and not under him. It just adds to the card. But I could see people having the other opinion where, well, put him behind. I want to see more of the featured player.
Yeah, and believe me, if I had a Noise Boys, I'd be doing backflips too. So I'm not like it's a very small distinction for me, and there's a lot to love with the Noise Boys card. And two, one thing about this card in the BGS9 grade, it's still pretty rare. I don't know what the exact pop count is here, but I was curious as to what the PSA pop count is, and there's 4 9s and 4 10s, and a 10 is only ever sold twice
in PSA
publicly.
holders.
Yeah, in PSA hold. Yeah, and so this is not a bad copy of this card, even in the BGS9.
What are those sales values for those 4 PSA 10s that's the
There's been 2 sales. So they were both in 20, or one was in the highest was in the weekly, or both were in PWCC weekly, and it sold for $5,040 in July of 2022, so just about 2 years ago. And then in January of 2023, it sold for $3,480.
Yeah. And I mean, this copy here could be a PSA 10 on a good day. If the graders
love it till you get it, right?
Well, it's just reality, right? But unless there's something glaringly wrong with it. But I mean, I've seen worse 10s. That's the thing. Not in this exact card, but this card it's intricate, right? There's die cuts everywhere, corners here, little inner corner right there. I think this is hollowed out right here between the Y and the Z, maybe hollowed out here as well. You got.
Does the back tell you anything?
Let's open it up and have a look.
And one other point on that too is Gretzky does have the blue tux, which is pretty awesome in the Noise Boys.
Though the original away jersey.
No, like on the skate blades, the plastic part of the blade, the tuck, is blue.
Oh,
like if you zoom in, it was just done for a very short time, and it's kind of cool.
Oh, down here, yeah, I didn't notice that before. I never noticed that on the card. The back of the card. The problem with the back of the card is that it's got white edges, so it's going to be really hard for us to see if there's any issues back there. But let's give there's definitely an issue right there, top left corner. That all looks good.
It's a pretty clean card, though. I mean,
that all looks good. I don't like how the cut came up. You see, there's cut right in there. I wish it would have really just been a perfect cut and not come up into there. But I don't think that hurts the condition of the card. I think I've seen that before. So I won't say I think they're all like that. I haven't seen them all, but many of them. It's a great edge. Top right corner, not perfect. There's some very light fray coming off it. So I want to see the subgrades now. Just edges got 9.5. Corners 9. Surface and centering 8.5. Centering 8.5. I don't get it.
How do you center this? Oh, top to bottom?
Top to bottom. It's definitely off. Yeah, definitely off. Definitely off. Okay, quickly, let's just see where we're at. 30 seconds still in the last 5-minute window, and then we get into the 1-minute windows, and this thing will go quick. Let's just push Radko Gudas off to the side there, or at least down lower, and now we got 5 still alive. The professor said that was quite the electrifying description of the electrifying card by Josh. We'll check tonight as it relates to the Michael Jordan electrifying. Yeah, that's why I was thinking the same thing, Professor. Is Jordan the same way? All right, guys, final moments here. Is electrifying going to end? Is Tretiak going to end? Let's let this thing reset now for us. Whoa. So looks like,
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. So the Tretiak is now sold for $2,400. The Electrifying is sold for $1,020. The Ovechkin Red Prism sells for $126, and the Noise Boys has sold for $1,440. Now, Josh, 10 minutes ago, if you asked me what was going to be the survivor card here, it would have been the Noise Boys or the Electrifying. I would not have thought it was going to be a Gretzky buyback auto, but that's what it ends up being. So this is the final card of the night, guys, that is alive. We're at $550. Already only 15 seconds left in this first 1 minute all access extended bidding window. So let's see if we have a bit of a bidding war on our hands. We'll watch at least one more minute of this, guys, before we wrap up the show. We just hit the top of the hour here. So let's see what happens. And while we're doing that, why don't we do this? Why don't we click out of favorites and go to all items? We still have hockey selected. So this will just give us hockey. And is that the last card overall? It looks like that is the last card in the whole auction. Now let's look at highest price. And I'm sure most of them were covered by us. So we covered the highest price of the night in hockey so far will be Alex Ovechkin, followed by Bobby Orr. Yeah, we covered all of these cards tonight. Nothing snuck up on us here. Oh, this Gretzky snuck up on us. Craft Drawings PSA 10 sells for $504.
Wow.
That's a little crazy. Total oddball card here. Don't like it at all personally. But somebody who needs all the Gretzkys needed that card for their set registry, I suppose, or just their Gretzky complete collection. Everything else we were looking at the top of the pile here, guys, for the most part. So
I have a little bit of something to add here. Now, this is admittedly a total minefield because of the spelling issues with Tretiak's name, but that sticker sold for what, $2,400? Is that what it went for tonight? The highest sale I can find, and I've looked at both Terapeak and Card Ladder, is $765 for any copy of that sticker. So if that goes for $2,400, that's a big increase.
Well, it's a pop 6 in a PSA 8. So did you talk about the grades you've seen sell?
No, any 765 a PSA 8 sold for in November of 2023. So that's a different. This is a really tough one to find, but I can't. I've spelt it with both the TRETJA K and then the TRETIAK.
Yeah.
And
this is simply the J replaces the I, and I think we see that in other places. But yeah, definitely a tough one to nail down for sure.
So a huge sale for it.
Doghouse Hockey says, should have grabbed the Electrifying on eBay when I had the chance. Was going for $900 or best offer for the PSA 10. And tonight it sells for $1,020 for a PSA 10. So who knows? Maybe you could have only got it for $850 back then, Doghouse, or maybe you could have got it for less, or maybe you'd have to pay $9. But it's such a great card, and that's a healthy price for it. It's not as rare as the Noise Boys, that's for sure. I used to have the pack odds for these sitting somewhere. I'd have to dig through my drawers. I know I have a folder with some old notes I had, and I kind of did an estimate at one point in time as to how many there are of each of the different inserts. And I'm just kind of opening up some drawers, seeing if I can find that folder, but I don't think I'm gonna. Oh, maybe it's in this little pile of scraps right here. Let me see if I find it. Let me see. I don't think I do. No, I don't. Okay. Oh, well. I'll see if I can dig that out. I think I have it somewhere. I'll see if I can dig it out and share it with you guys next time, perhaps. All right, Josh. Well, listen, that's going to do it. That is the PWCC auction for this Sunday, July the 14th. I'm expecting we're going to be back next Sunday, Josh. Is that night looking good to you to do another one of these?
Yeah, I assume it'll be the last PWCC weekly hockey watch party ever.
It probably will be, just because it's being rebranded to the
at the National
Fanatics Marketplace,
I think weekly. We'll see. I don't exactly know what's going to happen come August, but I expect that we'll continue to do weekly Sunday shows as long as they have a weekly auction. But I'm not certain that that's the case. But I'll be talking to the PWCC team at the National. So there won't be any shows during National Weekend, guys, which is coming up. The weekend after next, and then after that we'll have one. I'm actually now booked for Fanatics Fest in New York. I will be at Fanatics Fest in New York. We booked our hotel today, booked our flights the other day. So, when it's New York, my wife's like, you know what, I want to go to New York. So we're going together. She's got friends there. I don't know that I'll see her during the day, probably just, back at the hotel room at the end of the night. She could be out later than me, which is quite likely, and I'll be sleeping by the time she gets back. So I don't know even know if I'll see her in New York, but maybe in the mornings. But anyway, I will be at Fanatics Fest. I will be the National. So to anyone who's going to be there and you happen to see me, if I don't know who you are by your face, but I know your name, please say hi. Love to just meet more people as always. So we'll do the show next Sunday, Josh. That is going to be the 21st. There will be no show on the 28th. And then on the 4th of August, hopefully there's a show. We'll do one on the 11th if we can. But the 18th, I will be actually flying home Sunday night from New York after Fanatics Fest. So that'll do it. Josh, you got an episode of the Gong Show dropping in a few hours?
Yep, 3 a.m. locked and loaded.
Good stuff. Look forward to listening or watching/listening to it tomorrow, Josh. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for joining us. To the guys that were the first time to join the live stream, we had Jeremiah, we have Bilderboo, the two newbies. Great to have you guys. Hopefully you can make it back here again in the future. Peace to you, Dave Snyder, Doghouse Hockey, Professor, Northern Lights. Just kind of scrolling up. David G, Mike Kemmel, all you guys that were here tonight. Chris Perkins, James Wynn, Louie, Larry, Phil, Chad, all you guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We'll see you again next Sunday. And Josh, with that, this episode of the PWCC Weekly Hockey Auction and Watch Party on the Sports Cards Live YouTube channel for July the 14th is now over.